What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Real Build. I'm your host, Bill Reiman, your broker builder. And once again, I got a solo episode coming at you this week. Like I told you, I'm going to be doing more of these a lot more often just because I feel like it's just more direct to you. I can get more points across, and a lot of you are liking them as well. I'm here, obviously, you guys know what the real build's about. I'm here to teach you what to look for in the construction and real estate industries, whether you're buying, selling, renting, or building a custom home or building a new home. I'm here to bring on guests and help you, and also come on and give my expertise in the profession. The quick background on me: it's been a while since I gave one. I grew up in the construction business since I was a little kid. Been around it, know it like the back of my hand. I've been on other podcasts and said it was always a love-hate thing with me. When I was a kid, I hated it because I was kind of that out in the field laborer, but I've grown to love it more than anything. It's a passion of mine. I just love doing it. I love the clients. I love building, watching these houses come to life, being a part of the design stage of them. I just have a true passion for construction, and I want to bring that passion to this podcast. So that's a little short story of it too. If y'all want to know more, reach out to me. But this week I got a question. I actually had a question come in from another GC. He's been struggling with price increases, so I wanted to touch on that. And before we get into that, though, please feel free to, comment or reach out to me on any kind of social media platform and ask me anything. I've had more and more people reaching out to me asking questions that are construction related, people that are asking real estate related questions. So I'm going to be actually turning those questions into show topics, because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of the same questions, or if you don't even think about that question, maybe it'll help you in the future. So let's dive right into it. You guys know the routine. Like I always say, like, comment, share, subscribe, 5 stars on iTunes, share with your friends and family. I really appreciate you all listening. Show keeps growing each and every week, and let's keep it growing. So with that being said, let's get into this question. So Antonio asked me a question on Instagram, and the question was, I'm a GC like you, but I focus on remodels. I'm having a hard time communicating to clients that material labor shortage is a big factor on not meeting deadlines. Have you ran into this issue? How have you communicated to clients this in a way they understand? So first thing I said to him was, always set the expectation. I talk about this constantly, all the time, about setting the expectation, how important it is, what you need to do, prior to getting into a contract agreement with people. You have to tell them, okay, here's what we're facing. Here's the delays we're facing. Here are the new things that that are coming up. Here's what I heard could possibly coming up. It's constantly communicating those things, those issues that could happen, so that when they do happen, you've already been ahead of them. You can tell that client, hey, remember when I brought this up? So that was the first thing I said, setting the expectation, how important that is in any business. And I preach about this constantly, even on podcast interviews. I talk about it quite a bit too. It is just the communication and picking up the phone and talking to people. I'm big on talking to people. Emails are great too, obviously, but I always talk to them, and then we get it in writing. So set that expectation, and a lot of people are becoming more understanding today because they know what's going on with materials. They know what's happening with delays. They're seeing things that are missing on their shelves and their stores. The news is all over this with as far as the supply chain issues too. So if you set that expectation at the beginning with clients, and this goes out to all those clients out there too, your builders should be doing this, your contractors should be doing this as well. If you set those expectations from the beginning, life is going to be a lot easier. It's going to make the process a lot smoother as well. So another thing is, another problem a lot of the contractors have is kind of towards those beginning stages of bidding a job, quoting a job, or just initial phases with people is telling them those what's going on, or telling them about the delays and time frames and so on. And I like to use me as a real world example. I actually just had somebody, I didn't get the job, and I know why. I told them a reasonable expectation of time frame of how long it's going to take us to build a custom home for them. This was a larger custom home, 7,200 square feet under air. They wanted it done a lot faster. They wanted to get started a lot faster, and they didn't like hearing what I told them. And I could tell right off the bat, right from the beginning, that they didn't like what I was saying. When you do this long enough and you get in meetings with people, you can kind of read body language, you can read reactions and so on. You just get so used to doing that. And right away they didn't like what I was saying as far as time frame. And I said, so you're interviewing other builders, what have they been telling you? Just so you guys know, going into this story, I said that it was going to take me to build this 7,200 square foot house. Things are different in Southwest Florida, so before you fall out of your chairs when I tell you this time frame, it takes a lot longer to build things down here because there's so many codes and hurricane and so on. So I told him about 20 to 22 months to build this house. 7,200 square foot home, a lot of detail, a lot of stuff going on with pools, fire pits, interior details. Had 3 separate kitchens in this house. It was like a duplex type design. I asked him, I go, and I always like to hear what other builders are saying, and there's a way to ask these questions as well. So I asked him, I go, so what are these other builders telling you time frame wise? He goes, well, I had one builder tell me 18 months. I go, okay, maybe tough, but if it could probably happen if they really just had everything in line, those subcontractors weren't working for any other builders, they can get there right away, one thing after the other, it might be able to happen, but 18 months is pushing it. And I like to give longer time frames, just to let you know, if we finish faster as a company. And my brother and I talk about this all the time. We'll give longer time frames, and then we usually do end up finishing faster. But getting back to the story here, he said he had another guy say 15 months, not a chance in hell. And then he had another guy tell him 12 months, which he actually didn't believe too. So that was good. That's a starting point. But I think he believed the 15-month one. And I blatantly just said to him, I go, I'm going to be honest with you, with material delays the way they are, with products coming, discontinued the way they are, having issues with things coming in at different time frames, like windows and doors. Right now we got an issue with we got all the sliding glass doors, impact sliding glass doors, but we don't have the tracks. We've been waiting weeks for the tracks. We're missing 2 tracks. Can't put those doors up without those tracks. So things are happening like that. And I told him this, I go, with all these things happening, I'm not comfortable enough to give you a timeline like that. Well, what happened? He went with a different builder. So what's going to happen with him going with that different builder, guaranteed, is that they're going to disappoint him. It's going to be a rocky relationship, because the expectation was not started from the very beginning with that client, with that builder. So answering Antonio's question, Antonio, do you want to be that builder, that contractor that sets expectations and standards of exactly the time frames with honesty, and telling these people this is what is going to happen, this is why it's going to happen, and explaining things? Or are you going to be that builder that's afraid to explain things and just wants to say things to get a job, but deal with it later on and have a horrible experience with the client throughout the process, and it's going to be nothing but aggravation, fighting? So here's what I'm getting at. A lot of contractors have issues telling not telling the truth, but setting that expectations and telling what's actually going to happen, because they're afraid to tell what is going to happen because they're afraid of losing a job. That's a problem. That is a big problem, and it's going to kick them in the ass later by doing that. And a lot of them, it does. It's a lot of disappointed people later on. There's a lot of aggravated, pissed off customers later on. And I choose not to do that. I'd rather be upfront. That's how we've built our company, is being upfront, honest, just telling people how things are. I'm constantly in between stagnant periods too, like now. Like now with a few of my customers, they're in for permitting. I still communicate with them and say, hey, we're in for permitting still, just letting you know, or we're in for trust drawings, which are taking a certain time frame. They know how long those drawings are taking because I told them initially how long they're going to take. They know how long our permitting process takes because I initially told them how long that's going to take. It's setting those expectations, not being afraid to do so, and not being afraid to lose a job by doing so, by being honest. Honesty is key in everything you do. I'm telling you, it's going to go a long way. So, Antonio, be honest, be upfront with these people, do the right things. It's going to pay off over time. It's going to pay off. May not pay off with certain people right now. I just had 2 meetings last week with 2 potential builds, one of them being a huge build. And the guy said, when's the fastest you can move on this build? And I said, I got a couple months before I even touch it. I'm trying to get through who I got first. Those are my priorities. They've signed contracts with us. Once we're good and moving on a few of those and kind of get this assembly line moving, we can go to architecture on yours, meet with the architect, and get to planning. I don't know if he liked that. Haven't heard back, but I was honest too. And there's a lot of people out there and experts and saying you got to close the deal, got to close the deal. I close the deal if it's the right deal. I'm just saying, a lot of these deals aren't the right deal, and I'm going to close the deal with honesty and being upfront with them on my timelines. And I'm not going to just sell them bull crap to get the job, because that's going to bite you in the ass later on. So how can we communicate better? Let's get into this. So I wanted to go over a few bullet points on how to communicate better with clients that I actually use. So start with making sure your subcontractors are communicating any price changes with you. And when I say communicating better, this is communicating from the beginning to the client to deal with these price increases, to deal with these product delays, and so on. So communicate. You should have full communication. If you're subbing things out, you should know, or with your vendors, they should be letting you know. You should be reaching out if they're not. My subcontractors, I hold accountable, making sure they're going to tell me if there's a price increase, that I'm not going to get it randomly on my desk from them. They're going to tell me one's coming up. They're going to tell the girl in my office that there's one coming up. Everybody's going to be in the loop so that we know, and I can relay that message to the customer as well. So if there's an increase, I can right away, right after I hear from my subcontractor, I go back to the client and I say, listen, my subcontractor said this is probably going to be going up. This is what we're going to have to do about it. And a lot of people, like I told you, they're going to be understanding today because they know the world we live in today. We're living in a high inflation world. We're living in a problem with shipping. There's just constant issues going on. They're seeing it all over the news. People aren't stupid. They're watching the news. They're seeing what's going on. You just have to be able to tell them in the proper way why this is happening in the construction business and what you need to do about it, and so on. So communicate that price change or expected change right away to the client. Don't hesitate. Stop being afraid of the unknown. When I say stop being afraid of the unknown, I mean stop being afraid to tell them, because you expect something bad's going to come out of it. A lot of us suffer from this. A lot of us have this issue that, before we even tell somebody something or say something, we have this expectation in our mind that something bad's going to come from it. So we hesitate and we pull back and we don't tell the full truth, or we don't tell the fully what is going on. That's an issue. Tell them right away what's going on and explain. That goes into the next thing. Explain in full detail the situation of why the price increase is happening. Go through why exactly. Get the information from your subcontractor as well. What went up, why it went up, how much it went up, and communicate that to the client. If you communicate that of why exactly it went up, and you bring ammo to a gunfight, you're basically, it's going to go a long way with the client, because you're not going to just say, hey, by the way, customer, price went up, so nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I'll put it on your next bill. See ya. No. Hello, Mr. Customer. Hey, I just wanted to let you know we got a price increase coming up on this. Hopefully, it doesn't affect it that much, but I'm sorry, there's not really much I can do about it. Maybe, I can check with the subcontractor, see if I can get a better price on it for you. But I just wanted to set that expectation and let you know that this possibly could be going up within the time frame that you need it. So if there's an issue with that, maybe we can take some money out of somewhere else. I can talk to another subcontractor, maybe call this guy and see if I can get you a discount here to kind of leverage that increase and, help you out some way. But I can't eat that cost as the builder. You know what's going on in the world today. It's unfortunate circumstances with all these prices everywhere, even in the grocery store. I hope you understand. I hope we can make this work. So, just explain it to them. Most of the time, a lot of people are going to be understanding, and, they're, as long as you're communicating to them, they're going to be like, yeah, I get it. It is what it is, because you communicated from the beginning. Go back to the beginning of what I said. You communicated these possible increases from the beginning. And while you're talking to them too, you're going to say, hey, remember in the beginning, I said some of those things could possibly go up. Well, this unfortunately is going to have to be one of them. We just got an increase in plumbing fixtures because of this, and this. The manufacturers are short on this, blah, blah, blah. Explain, bring the details, so on. People want to know why. They just don't want to be like, yeah, you got a price increase, pay it. So, next thing, I mean, if you have a difficult customer too, see, and this is what I touched on there too, see where you can compromise with them. We're going to deal with difficult clients. Not everybody's going to be completely understanding, especially if you're in a fixed cost deal, but your contract should obviously support price increases too. If it doesn't, you might want to check that. But, maybe, like I said, have some wiggle room somewhere else. Be like, hey, okay, we got a price increase here. Maybe I can get you off something here. People like you to work with them. And that's maybe a way you can leverage something, is just say, hey, I got a little more money, I can get you off maybe $1,000 here, if that's okay with you, because maybe this will help outweigh that price increase. I'm sorry. And most of the time people are going to work with you, instead of just getting an argument and saying it is what it is. So anyway, back to this. That was kind of a quick list on things, but the main thing is just being honest with every client, from the beginning, telling them what you're facing and what can happen during the build too, as far as cost delays or product delays and so on. I continue the conversation with them from contract all the way, from even before contract all the way to permitting, to after, even during the whole entire build and after. It's just constantly talking to them, being top of mind. And we do a lot of meetings too. We do a lot of in-person meetings. I know a lot of builders don't like doing that, but we take the time to do it. We have a team, and we have approach with our team, because the communication is so good when you're in person and they're out in reality. We've been doing that quite a bit as well. Check in weekly with them. If you don't want to do an in-person meeting, obviously we don't do them once a week. We do them once, maybe every other month. But Check in weekly with them, see how they're doing, how they're feeling. You got to pick up the phones, man. I mean, it's just, you have to pick up the phones. You have to communicate. I talk about this constantly. Listen to them, hear their issues, see how you can resolve them. We're problem solvers in construction as builders. It's what we have to do. So just do what you can. Like I said, honesty is a must. So many contractors are afraid just to tell people the truth and explain things to them because they overanalyze things. And in the end, most of the time, people are just, they're good. They're okay with it. I like using examples. I had a situation with a Bahama shutter measurement that was a little bit off. The girl in our office thought that the client was going to be upset about it. Client loved the Bahama shutters. I mean, that's just a small example, but still, it's like that person assumed that client wasn't going to be happy with something, but the client loved it. So why not just ask the client first if they like it and then deal with it from there rather than over analyzing something. And I hope you guys, I'm just rambling on here, but short episode this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you please share it with your friends and family. Show is continuously growing each and every week. I really enjoy doing this. It's been a true passion of mine, and it's been great. I mean, I've met a lot of great people over there. I mean, like 2.5 years of doing this. It's crazy. I would have never thought I'd be doing this long, but we continue to grow, and you guys continue to be awesome and a great audience and share this. And I can't say enough how much I truly, truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. Like, subscribe, share, comment, 5 stars on iTunes. You know the routine. Appreciate y'all. I'm Bill Reiman, your broker builder. I'll see you next week.